If all of you in the room were to roll up your left sleeve, those of you born before the late 1970s will find on your shoulder a small round scar. It's interesting to realize that those who are too young might not know what it is, let alone why they don't have one. I'm referring, of course, to the smallpox vaccination scar. The child on the right should be a celebrity. She's Rahima Banu. When the final case of smallpox was verified, a group of health workers who had been at the forefront of the battle gathered to look for other health problems to conquer. They formed an organization called Seva, which is a Sanskrit word meaning service. They adopted as a logo the eyes of the Buddha, as seen on Buddhist temples in Asia. It was decided to take on the curing of blindness as a goal, and 2 countries were chosen in which to start. India, because it has the largest pool of curably blind people in the world, and Nepal, because it is one of the poorest countries in the world. It turns out that close to 70% of the blindness was caused by cataract, which can only be cured with surgery. So what next? The campaign now would have to be one not of prevention but of curing, of finding a way to do cataract surgery on a large enough scale to bring light back into the world of millions of people. Seva took on the task of setting up a program to deal with all the sight problems in the Lumbini zone of Nepal. The project was centered in the old government hospital, which looks quite imposing in this photo, but was quite cramped and run down. Here you can see the operating room on the upper left, what passed for the recovery room, where children recovered from general anesthetics, and the kitchen, which was a space under a tree outside the hospital, where relatives of patients could prepare their meals. You would be amazed, though, at the quality of work that was done in these conditions. Surgery is carried out in the cleanest room available. Most of the time, the camps are conducted in the local school. Here you can see the blackboard in the background. You can't see that the floor is dirt and there are insects everywhere. Despite the primitive conditions, the results in the eye camps are excellent and the infection rate very low. Seva's goal, as with feeding large numbers of people for the long term, is to provide a system which is sustainable locally. Another aspect of high-quality cataract surgery was the use of the intraocular lens implant, or IOL. Cataract surgery entails the removal of the lens. Now light can enter, but the image is extremely blurred because there is no longer a lens in place. The best option is the intraocular lens implant, or IOL, a small plastic lens that is placed inside the eye in the location of the original lens at the time of cataract surgery. Seva pioneered the use of IOLs in developing countries, and I carried out one of the first IOL eye camps in the world, helping to demonstrate that lens implants could be used safely in these settings. And from less than 200 cataract surgeries a year at the beginning, the Lumbini Hospital now does well over 30,000 a year, and Lumbini has become a teaching center for the whole country. People don't go blind by the millions, they go blind one personal tragedy at a time. There is a much higher frequency of cataract in young people than in the West. In my practice here in Canada, I might see 1 child a year with cataract, while in Asia I see at least 1 a day. The afters. These are mostly images of patients who had been blind in both eyes and have just had their first cataract surgery. Another Tibetan woman with her happy son. Her eyes are now in better shape than her teeth. And to targeting eye care for children, who otherwise often don't get the care they need, especially the girls. And some even do show gratitude. The woman in the photograph lives with her family in a tiny village 10 days' walk from the eye camp where this was taken in the foothills of Everest. She had developed cataracts in both eyes and gone completely blind. After going blind, she had given birth to another child, which of course she was unable to see. The family made the 10-day trek to the camp where I operated on both her eyes. You can see her pleasure in seeing her child for the first time. Her comment, translated from Nepalese, was, "You have given me divine eyes." It's also the obvious answer to anyone who might ask why I've been volunteering with Seva for well over 20 years.